Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Motive Racing channel for tonight's action here in the Purple Sector Formula One League. Round 12 of 24 here tonight. It's the midway point in Season 12 here for the Purple Sector League. Obviously, cross-play nowadays, but started off on the PlayStation only. And tonight we're at the very famous Silverstone circuit here for the British Grand Prix, which is one of the staples of the Formula One calendar. One of the guaranteed places, I would say, on the calendar, you would think, anyway, and deservedly so. A real cracking track, plenty of overtaking, a very fast circuit with lots of high-speed corners, which will be certainly taking their toll on the tyres here tonight. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the drivers handle it and who is able to nurse them to the end the best, if indeed it is a dry race, which we're expecting it to be, but I'm not quite sure if any of the drivers are listening to the stream. If anybody knows what the weather's going to be later on, please do let us know in the chat. That'd be massively helpful indeed. But nonetheless, here we are then. We've got the first few drivers out on the track. RNG, Ruck, Davidoff, Drauga's out there as well as Matty Pitt and White Shadow Hull, and they're all just slowly filtering out onto the circuit. But before we get into the ifs and buts and whatnots of the action on track right now, let's go through the championship standings coming into tonight, because we saw a bit of a shake-up on Tuesday night for the first race of the week. So yeah, let's have a quick look at the standings coming into tonight. Obviously, this is round 12, we said before, so we've had 11 races so far this season. So it is Glenn who leads the championship so far. He sits in first place on 171 points. He's only 3 points clear of Davidoff. So obviously Glenn took the championship lead on Tuesday night, but Davidoff's still right there in second place on 168. In third place is Justify, who's been chipping away and just gaining bit by bit on the whoever's the leader at any given round over the last couple of weeks here. He's only 41 points behind now. I remember a week or so ago I was saying 57, so Justify has been sneakily just making little gains here over these last few rounds. He sits in third place on 130 points. Matty Pitt also not very far behind at all when you think about it. Matty Pitt is only 47 points off of the championship lead. He's on 124 in fourth place, obviously last season's champion as well, Matty Pitt. And in fifth place, we've got Rexy Boy on 87 points. Rexy Boy is there, currently in the pits at the moment. In sixth place, C. Faulkner on 74 points. C. Faulkner's currently there on an hour lap at the moment. Then we've got Freddie in seventh place on 67. Freddie doesn't appear to be here at the moment. I'm not sure if we'll be expecting him later on in the session. T is eighth on 51 points. And behind him is Street Boy in ninth place on 42 points. And we've got in 10th place is Mr. Johan on 34 points. Has already had a very strong start to his campaign here at the Purple Sector League. Won on Tuesday night at the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. Yeah, he's been on an absolute charge over the last couple of weeks here. Had a strong seasonal debut at Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix, but he's been doing a phenomenal job here. Qualified second, obviously, in the quali on Tuesday night, and then went on to win the race at the Red Bull Ring. So he'll be expecting big things here tonight, I'm sure. 11th place in the standings is Mark on 28 points. Mark doesn't appear to be here either tonight. 12th place is Drauga. Not like Drauga to see him so far down the championship standings. I think he'll be looking to try and get things going in the right direction before we go in for the mid-season break. Obviously, we're not racing next week, so midway point it'd be a mid-season break. Before we get into that, I'm sure Drauga would love to sign off for the first part of the season with a strong result. Ruck also not having a season either. 22 points in 13th place in the standings. There's Ruck in the pits at the moment. Then you've got G.C. in 14th place on 20 points. And then behind G.C. is Truckee in 15th on 11. Then we got Oliver in 16th place on 10 points so far for this season. Oliver is also a driver who isn't with us this week either, which is a shame. White Shadow sits in 17th place on 2 points in the championship at the moment. And then Wild Pluto is 18th on at nil point. But Wild Pluto not been racing with us for the last few weeks. I'm not quite sure if he's pulled out the championship or not. But yeah, it's been a notable absentee for a while now. But nonetheless, early stages of qualifying here for the Purple Sector Formula 1 League, and it's Matty Pitt currently setting the pace here on a 1:27.8, currently 7/10 of a second quicker than Draga in second place. Mr. Johan's done a time good enough at third place at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be seeing times coming in quicker than that over the course of the session. White Shadow Hole sits in fourth place at the moment on a 1:29.4. Andy Fong here saying Davidoff go off, or does that mean go on? I think it means go on. Davidoff, obviously second in the championship coming into tonight, was leading the championship for a few rounds, but has kind of fallen back over the course of last week and really needs to have a bit of a response here tonight, because he's got Glenn now leading the championship by 3 points, and he's also got Justify coming for him as well. Justify is coming for both of these two, and is currently on provisional pole as things stand. So they, Glenn and Davidoff really need to be looking over their shoulders, because Justify is going to be coming for them. He's going to be right there come season's end. I'm absolutely certain about that. He's currently top of the qualifying leaderboard at the moment. We've got C. Faulkner here, says is second place on a 1:27.4. Are you drinking tonight again? No, why? Do I sound like I'm drinking? I'm not drinking, no. God, do I sound drunk? I mean, I hope not, but yeah, I'm definitely not. Anyway. Judo C.'s gone into fourth place with a 1:27.9. It's only me here tonight because my commentary partner, Ian, is currently in London. He's doing a favour for a friend, basically giving a lift, because one of his friends got a job interview in London, so he's had to take him down, and obviously now he's staying over in London. So yeah, him and a good friend of his are currently staying in London, which is not actually far from where I am. But nonetheless, we see Justify veering off the track there onto the grass, and I don't know if that was lag or what that was, but that was very strange there from him. Yeah, I am quite self-conscious now, because it's been implied that I sound intoxicated, and that certainly isn't the case. Where's the Scottish commentator? Oh yeah, I've answered that one. What is that McLaren driving? I don't know, Andy. I don't know. I was a bit confused as well, and he's also stacked it coming into the pits as well. So looking like Justify is, yeah, I don't really know. He's done a lap good enough for pole. Saying that though, C. Faulkner is on an absolute flyer here. 2 tenths up through the first sector. Let's stay with him here as he comes through Copse Corner, flat out through there. You'd expect to be in the dry conditions. We see Glenn has gone into second place there, only a tenth of a second off at the provisional pole time, being set by Justify. But we're riding on board here with the Visa Cash App RB, what's it, thingamajig doodah, as he gets a big slide there going through Beckett's. That cost him a little bit of time there. He's now just 500ths of a second down on his personal best. He was 2 tenths up through the first sector, so see what we've lost a bit of time here. Has got work to do to try and claw this time back over the course of this lap, and he's coming into the pits. Clearly doesn't feel that he's got a good chance of improving there, or maybe he's out of fuel, not quite sure. Glenn in the meantime has got in second place with that lap that we just mentioned there. He's on an in lap by the looks of it right now. What about G.C. He's up through the middle sector. Let's jump on board and see what he can do here coming through Vale. G.C. currently 7 tenths off of the pole time, being set by Justify. Here he comes over the line, a big improvement there, and moves up into 5th place. Lovely lap there from G.C. Glenn pulling off to the side of the road there. We've got a Ferrari coming through, which was Rexy Boy, Street Boy here, coming through the middle sector. Let's see what Street Boy's able to do here as he comes out of Chapel onto the Hanger Straight. He's currently looks to be on a flying lap, I would think. His teammate Rexy Boy's not too far away from him as well, so both Ferraris will be coming up on the line pretty shortly, you would imagine. Street Boy here coming through Vale. See what Street Boy can put on the board here. I think it's a little bit off of the pole time, not much though. Yeah, 8 tenths of a second off, 8th place there. So Street Boy, Rexy Boy is coming up on the line, or coming up through Vale, should I say. And the one Ferrari's gone into 8th place. Where is the other Ferrari going to go? Rexy Boy comes out the final corner, a little bit off of Street Boy at 9th place there for Rexy Boy. So 8th and 9th for the Ferraris so far here in this session. Justify still on provisional pole. Glenn, C. Faulkner, Ruck, your top 4 at the moment. Still a fair way to go here in this session. Obviously, we're only just over halfway through this qualifying at the moment. But for those who are just joining us, Justify did that lap pretty early on, actually. It was pretty much his first lap of the session. and currently a tenth ahead of Clem with T. Faulkner doing a very solid effort there. C. Faulkner was actually 2/10 up through the first sector on his second effort, but ended up making a small mistake going through Beckett's. Obviously, the tyres have a very limited operating window in qualifying, at which they're at their maximum ability. So C. Faulkner had that little bit of a oversteer moment coming through Beckett's, and that cost him horribly on the exit of Chapel. By the time he came out onto the hangar straight, he was already at half a tenth down from being a tenth up in the first sector. So he lost at least 2.5 tenths going through that corner. Could have been more if he'd gained more time in between those points, but nonetheless, we see Matty Pitt coming over the line to start a lap here, but he's already backed out of it, so I'm not quite sure why. Or maybe he hasn't, but he took a very strangely tight line coming through turn 1. So maybe he is still on a flying lap, I'm not sure, but it did seem a bit strange to me the way that he was on the inside of the core of the track coming into Abbey, which is turn 1. And yeah, Matty Pitt's definitely backed out of it here. So Davidoff, what's he up to here? Currently half a second down to the first sector. That's not going to be an improvement, but he has gone P4, which is a very solid lap time indeed there from him. C. Faulkner currently 3 seconds off of the pace here. Sorry, not 3 seconds off the pace. Well, it wasn't that last lap, but not overall in terms of the overall picture in the session. Yeah, Davidoff was half a second down for the first sector, so I very much doubt that he's going to be an improvement here. Unless he had a scruffy second and third sectors on his personal best. No, he's lost another 4 tenths there, coming to the middle sector. Has he done some tweaks to the setup? Obviously, you can tweak the setup until your final run, so as long as you haven't reached the end of quali, you can change that setup a little bit. So maybe Davidoff has just done that and potentially hasn't worked out. But nonetheless, into the pits he comes here. C. Faulkner, though, he is a tenth and a half up coming to the first sector. This is the part of the track where he made a little mistake the last time, so let's hope that he can nail Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel nicely here. This is the part of the track where he had the oversteer. He gets it lovely this time, really smooth onto the throttle, and he's still 2 tenths up here as C. Faulkner. This could be pole position here for our driver in the RB. He's coming now into Stowe Corner, and C. Faulkner here on an absolute flyer. As long as he keeps the momentum going to the final couple of corners here, doesn't feel the pressure too much. This could be his moment of glory here. Here he comes through in towards Club Corner now in this qualifying session here for the British Grand Prix. C. Faulkner over the line, and he does go P1 there by a decisive margin as well. Almost 2 tenths of a second ahead of Justify. C. Faulkner's laid down a marker there. Absolutely fantastic stuff there from him. And that's really sent out a message to everybody else here. They need to get themselves into gear. What a lap that was from our Visa Cash Up RB driver there. Excellent stuff as we see Rux now on a lap. And Justify's out of the pits, ready to do another lap here as well. Matty Pitt currently in the pits at the moment. But yeah, coming towards the end of this qualifying session now, is C. Faulkner going to get himself in and put a fresh set of tyres on and go for another run here? He could probably get himself in and do another run. He'd have time, or is he just going to rest on his laurels here? He's got 2 tenths over the other guys here. Maybe save a set of tyres. Who knows? The softs could be necessary in the race if there's a safety car. Then you're very likely to need a set of softs if it's a late one. And we have seen a few of them over the season. Saying that, Silverstone's not too bad for safety cars. There's plenty of a runoff, and the barriers aren't that close to the track. So typically you can use the escape roads and use the extra space quite wisely, both if you're avoiding crashing in the first place and also clearing away the crashes as well. But nonetheless, Justify here, coming through the middle part of the lap here, through Copse Corner. Little upshift there as he was coming out of the corner. Nothing out of the ordinary there, as he now comes through Maggots and Beckett's. And through Chapel Curve we go now. So let's keep an eye on that time board. And he's a 10th up through the middle sector. That would currently put him in second place, but if he gains another 10th here through this final sector, then it will be pole position here for Justify. Through slow corner we go. Onto the power. Quite tentative there as he was trying to avoid track limits there. Coming through into Vale. Now we go. Nice bit of curve there on the entry. Just tapping the middle part. And very tidy there from Justify. Over the line he comes. And it's pole position there by 0.2 of a second. Lovely stuff there from Justify. Managed to pull that one out. Very, very nicely indeed. C Faulkner needs to get back out there. Currently second place in this session at the moment. Has got time to get out there and do another run. Cled also in the pits. So is Davidoff. So looking like these guys are taking their time about responding to that lap. We now see C Faulkner leaving the garage, or at least it was definitely a cash app. It might have been G.C. but I don't think it was. No, it was C Faulkner. So C Faulkner's now back out onto the circuit. And so is Davidoff as well. Ruck coming into the pits. That's his session done. G.C. is not improving on this current lap that he's on at the moment. Street Boy is just starting this current lap. But, yeah, let's see what Street Boy's doing as he comes to the first sector. Oh, he's backed out of it by the looks of it. Oh, no, he's just going over slipstream there. I think that would have cost him more than it's gained him. 600's down for the first sector. We're going to keep half an eye on Street Boy. Where's T? T's coming towards the end of the lap. Let's jump on board with T here. Down the hanger straight. And through Stowe we go there. So T currently P11 here in this session. 1.4 seconds off of the pace. Can he get a little bit closer here? Can he challenge the mid-pack? Here he comes. P5 for T. Lovely lap there. 0.6 of a second off of the pole time. G.C.'s a 10th up through the first sector. Street Boy is way down through the middle sector here, so Street Boy is not going to improve here. We've got to watch Mr. Johan. We know what happened on Tuesday night. Here in the business end of this qualifying session right now, we've got G.C. going through Copse Corner. And Mr. Johan has backed out of it, has he? Or is he going to save his tyres for another run here? I'm not sure how much fuel he's got in the car. Let's hope for his sake he's got enough fuel so we don't have a lap here, because currently P9 looks like he's on his way in. So I'm not sure what the plan is here with Mr. Johan. But Justify the provisional pulses into the pits. He reckons he's done enough here. C Faulkner coming through the middle part of the lap. Didn't actually see what the split time was for the first sector there. So we're not going to get too much of a clue until he comes out onto the hanger straight. But he's still pushing for the time being, which would indicate he probably had a good first sector, because I wouldn't have thought he'd still be going for it if he was way down on his personal best. Got to remember, he needs to find 2.5 tenths. So he needs to be up on his personal best at the very least here. Here he comes then, through Chapel again. Onto the throttle nice and early. Out onto the hanger straight. And he is 2 tenths up. Is C Faulkner. This could be pole position. He obviously took provisional pole earlier in the session. Justify them relieved him of that. But the track is ramping up and improving lap after lap after lap. White Shadow says Justify is a different animal. He's definitely very good. But I tell you what, there's a man who could certainly deny him here as C Faulkner comes through Vale. For the final time here in this qualifying session, is it going to be pole? It's going to be very, very close, but it's not going to be pole. He misses out by a 10th of a second. Second place, nonetheless, is a great result there for C Faulkner. Davidoff goes into third place there, half a second off of the fastest time being set by Justify. Klein is coming to the final corner. He's currently a 10th down to the middle sector as he comes over the line and stays in P4, so no improvement there for him. T's in the pits. Matty Pitt's done for the session. He's way down on his personal best on this lap. G.C. coming through in towards the final sector. He's down as well. He's not going to improve there. Mr. Johan, I tell you what, is on an improvement though through the first sector. Let's see what he does through the middle part of the lap. He needs to find over a second here to be anywhere near the leaders. Mr. Johan, he's backed out. He's backed out. So Mr. Johan's not going to improve. It's going to be P9 at best here for him. Trauger's also on a lap, but he's on an in lap, so it's not going to be an improvement for Trauger either. So Mr. Johan should be safe in 9th. So I think that's going to be it then. That's pretty much the session over. And that is Justify there taking pole position. He's hunting him down, isn't he? In that championship battle, I tell you what. It's Claire leading with Davidoff only 3 points behind. Justify's 41 points off the lead in the championship, but he's chipping away. And that pole position will be certainly a solid foundation here to continue that chipping away as we go into what is the mid-season break next week. So it'll be a bit of a boost there for him if he can convert his pole position and gain a few more points here on his championship rivals, that will be, I'm sure, a welcome boost here for him in this season. But nonetheless, that is that then for the qualifying session here. We'll just quickly go through the championship standings again before we get into the race. So leading the way is Klen on 171 points. In second is Davidoff on 168, followed by Justify in third on 130. Matty Pitts fourth on 124, followed by Rexy Boy in fifth on 87. C. Faulkner sixth on 74 points, ahead of Freddie in seventh on 67. T in 8 on 51 points, ahead of Street Boy 9th on 42. Miss Johans 10th on 34 points. Mark is 11th on 28 points, followed by Drauger in 12th on 28. Rock is 13th on 22, with G.C. in 14th on 20. Then we got Jockey in 15th on 11 points. Oliver 16th on 10. White Shadow in 17th on 2 points. And Wild Pluto currently still on nil point as things stand in 18th place. But that is that for qualifying here, everybody. And what a race we have got in store here. We've got C. Faulkner qualifying on the front row alongside Justify with a phenomenal performance. It'd be interesting to see if he can convert that exceptional pace there into a good race performance here. But nonetheless, we are about to go racing here for round 12 of the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. My favourite circuit, Silverstone Circuit, a track where I know all the corner names, so I feel extra clever when I'm on the comms around this track. And yeah, just it brings it back for me because I've been to Silverstone twice and both times saw Hamilton win. So yeah, good memories from this track, and hopefully we can have a good race here tonight. So drivers will be making their final adjustments before we actually get underway for the race itself. As I said before, it is the mid-season break, so there will be a gap in proceedings between this week and obviously next. But then we'll be back for the second half of the season. After that, it will be Hungary. We'll be kick off the second part of the season, and Spa will be the one after that. So that'll be in 2 weeks' time, not next week, which is a bit of a shame. But then again, it is Easter next week, so I guess yeah, lots of people might be busy next week anyway. So probably best. But nonetheless, here we go then, as we're getting underway for the formation lap here, which I believe will be a short formation lap. It usually is.
As we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
Yes, there we go, the dulcet tones of David Croft there. Unfortunately, Crofty couldn't make it for tonight, so you're going to have to deal with the with me as your lead commentator tonight, and indeed your only commentator, because I did mention earlier that Ian, unfortunately, unable to make tonight because he is in London. So yeah, he's having a great time drinking and living it up, so good on him. But nonetheless, here we are, loading up on the grid, getting ready to go for the British Grand Prix 1 League. Here we are then, lights coming on at the head of the grid. We're about to go racing here for the British Grand Prix here at Purple Sector. And lights out, we're underway. Looks like a good start there from Justify. Got off the line very nicely. As C. Faulkner under pressure now. Davidoff slips through up to second place around the outside. Also, we've got Klen to come up the inside there. T squeezed through as well ahead of Klen. So manages to mug him there. Looking around the outside now is C. Faulkner. C. Faulkner's going to try and hold it there. T, though, with a fantastic start up to third place. He's done really well there. C. Faulkner managing to keep it around the outside, though. Bit of a twitch there onto the grass. Managed to keep it together there. But T has got that third place done there. Justify leading. Davidoff up into second place from P4 on the grid, and T on a fly there as well. But C. Faulkner and Klen, the big ones to lose out there on the opening lap. Drauger's moved ahead of White Shadow, ahead of Street Boy up into 11th place at the moment. But Justify is leading the race as they come through Woodgate here for the first time. Davidoff keeping in close proximity at the moment. We can see Matty Pitt is hassling the back of Klen right now. The championship leader is having to look in his mirrors here, because last season's champion is giving him a bit of a workout here on this opening lap, as we've now got C. Faulkner as well making a mistake coming out of Cops. But Klen's too far back to capitalise just at the moment then. And for the time being, C. Faulkner stays in fourth place, but it's Justify leading the race as they come out onto the hanger straight here for the first time at racing speeds. Davidoff here is keeping him very much in his crosshair at the moment, as Matty Pitts moves ahead of Klen, and Mr. Johan's got ahead of G.C. up into 7th place as well as they go into Stowe Corner. Mr. Johan already sporting a penalty, so is White Shadow Hull. How on earth they managed that after one lap of racing, I do not know. But nonetheless, they're coming through Vale here at the end of the first lap and it's currently Justify who has a slender gap at the moment. Street Boys moved ahead of Drauger up into P11 on this first lap as well, but they come into the first corner here on lap 2 of the race. That is the situation right now. We can see a battle going on there as Rock was looking to the inside there. Gino coming into the turn 1, but he's still a bit too far away. Couldn't make it happen there, and again having to just back out there going into Village. But Justify here out onto the Wellington straight has got a gap of just about a second here to Davidoff. So Davidoff just about keeping it within DRS. Justify almost managed to break it, but didn't quite manage to get enough of a gap to be able to do that. It was very, very close there. He'll be, I think, a bit frustrated with that one. But nonetheless, they're coming through Woodcote here on lap 2 of the race, and the gap just staying at just under a second here between Justify and Davidoff just at the moment. And see, they're still running in the podium places. C. Faulkner there ahead of Matty Pitt, as we can now see G.C. moved ahead of Mr. Johan up into P7, going down the old start-finish straight there. But tell you what, he's not giving up here. Mr. Johan's still on the back of him as they come through Maggots and Beckett's. He might fancy a run here down the hanger straight with DRS. He'd be close enough to think about it, but is he going to be able to go for it here? As in the background there, Rock getting a massive slide there, coming out onto the hanger straight. Now he's going to be vulnerable here. Rexy Boy's going to move through, and G.C.'s been passed there by Mr. Johan up the inside into Stowe. And Mr. Johan now up into 7th place, getting that position back, which he lost a few moments ago. As now we can see a driver coming into the pits there as well, which is actually Mr. Johan, so serving a drive-through, I would assume, in the early stage of this race. It's something that you have to do within 3 laps, so that would explain why they managed to get penalties at such an early stage. But White Shadow's staying out, so presumably that's not a drive-through for a full start. No, that is for track limits by the looks of it, which is a very early time to be getting track limits, I'll tell you. But nonetheless, the pack here coming through the exit of Aintree and into the loop here for the 3rd time in this race. And the top top 6 are pretty much all together at the moment, so this is technically quite a big battle here for the lead of the race. Then you got 7th all the way down to 11th, battling 5-car train there, and then a bit of a gap back to Truckee, who's running in 12th place. White Shadow and Mr. Johan well out of touch now with their early penalties in this race, but Justify nonetheless coming through on the exit of Cops Corner. Just about a second is the gap to Davidoff, so if you can have a really good sequence here through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel, he might have a chance to keep out of the DRS here, and that will allow him to cement this lead and really get into a bit of a rhythm. And I think he might have just about done this, you know. Let's have a look and see if that rear wing's open on the Williams. No, it is still open, so Davidoff just clinging on for the time being. T, though, nonetheless, is going to try and make a move here. He's also got the slipstream off of Justify as well, looking to go around the outside of Stowe Corner. He's going to get that move done. He is going to get that one done. T up into 2nd place. What a move that was from him. Saw the opening around the outside and went for it. Absolutely brilliant stuff from T there. And now Davidoff's going to watch out, because C. Fortin is going to be looming larger in his mirrors. Ever present. He's a cash up there, putting him under pressure. Cled and Matty Pitt still in the background, watching and waiting for their opportunities here. There's Rexy Boy and G.C. with Street Boy, Drauger, Rock, and then you've got Truckee there running in P12 just behind them. But here we go then. The gap is about a second between Justify and T, and still the 2nd place driver. It's evolved a few times, still within a second, but saying that, he hasn't got DRS. So he'd obviously dropped out of the DRS at the detection point. And Justify actually now has got a golden opportunity here to try and break that DRS gap. If he can do that, then it'll be ominous for the others, because they're all battling and they're all on the DRS train. So it could be a real challenge for anybody to challenge Justify if he gets out of that 2nd gap. We've got Seiju there saying never knew a Williams could be this quick. I've been driving as Williams actually in my career mode, my personal career mode, not the one I do with Ian, but my personal one. I picked Michael Schumacher, but put him in a Williams, and I finished 8th in the first race at Australia, and then retired at Jeddah, crashed. But yeah, I've actually managed to get good results out of it. I'm racing on 95 AI, and so far I've not done too badly. C40 NOS has moved to T up into 3rd place, so that's job done there into the podium places. C40 has been on the back of him for a while, but Davidoff still unable to really keep with Justify, and T actually lost out to Davidoff there, so Davidoff obviously into 2nd place. T was running in 2nd place briefly a few moments ago. He's obviously lost that position. G.C.'s now up into 7th place here. He's got ahead of Rexy Boy going through Vale. Here comes the Ferrari Street Boy, looking a little bit more hungry here on the back of these two as well. Would he fancy making a move here into Village? Now we've got Rexy Boy looking up the inside of G.C. here, as he has to back out of that because G.C. went very late on the brakes. And Street Boy is going to try and swoop through ahead of Rexy Boy. And Draga's also looking to get involved as well here. So we've got a big train of cars here battling over 7th place. Street Boy here with DRS is going to make the move on G.C. relatively easily. And here comes the other Ferrari here. We're almost 3 wide there going into Brooklands. And Rexy Boy had to back out of it. And that allowed Draga to swoop around the outside. Now he might be passed as well by Ruck. So Ruck here looking to try and make the most of Rexy Boy's maybe over-ambitious moment there as he was on the outside through Brooklands. He got absolutely mugged by everybody there. Truckee now looking to try and get involved as well here as they come down towards Cops Corner once again. Street Boy leading this train of cars as they all come through the corner side by side there between Rexy Boy and Truckee. And Truckee would actually get a good exit here down towards Maggots and Beckett's. They're side by side. Who's going to back out of this one in the end? It's going to have to surely be the Red Bull that gives way. He does give way, and Rexy Boy holds on to 11th place as G.C.'s been passed again by Drauga. Drauga up to 8th place once again. Street Boy still leading this train of cars as Drauga now with the DRS down the hanger straight we go. He's going to look to the outside of Street Boy and he's going to have that move done before we get to the corner, I think. He's going to swoop around. Oh, Street Boy there poking his nose in, and that was a little bit silly there from Street Boy. He didn't need to do that. He kept his nose on the inside when it would have made more sense to just stay on the inside and just brake a little bit earlier. And unfortunately the result is both of them now down to 11th and 12th places at the back of this quintet, which is now led by G.C. Sorry, Ruck even, should I say. So it's actually a 6-car train here, but Ruck is now 7th place ahead of G.C. with Rexy Boy, Truckee, and there they are, Drauga and Street Boy running in P11 and 12 at the moment. So a nightmare there for those two, as they're now quite out of touch actually compared to these guys. Saying that Drauga's still right there, but Street Boy certainly has come off pretty badly in that one. As things stand, Ruck's still leading this train of cars as they come down towards Brooklands, and there we go, G.C. up the inside. Now Rexy Boy's looking to try and get involved as well here as he just gets cut off there. Ruck keeping it there. Oh, and Truckee there loses it in the background onto the grass. Truckee there has had an absolute nightmare coming through into Brooklands and is now down in 13th place, so that couldn't have gone much worse there for him. We've got to go back to the battle for 7th here. G.C. is still leading this train of cars as they come through Cops once again. White Shadow there running in 12th place has got ahead of Truckee. So that's a position gained there for him. Mr. Johan currently 14th after that early pit stop. And Matty Pitt's got ahead of T, and Glenn got ahead of him just a moment ago as well. So Glenn and Matty Pitt making up places there into 4th and 5th places respectively, should I say. Ruck's moved ahead of G.C. up into 7th place as well as they come through Stowe Corner. Rexy Boy on the outside here of G.C. as they come into Vale, and G.C. really riding over that curb there quite heavily. Rexy Boy on the inside coming through Club Corner, should have that one done. Although saying that, G.C. still keeping it on the outside. He's going to lose out to Drauga though. Drauga though backs out of that one coming into Abbey. You could see that disaster coming from a mile off and gets out of the way before it happens. But it's allowed Ruck to just kind of break the train a little bit here. He's now starting to get away from these guys. In the meantime, we see a battle going on between Davidoff and C. Faulkner here. C. Faulkner tried to go for a cutback there, but the Red Bull of Glenn was parked in the way, nowhere he could go. And C. Faulkner is still running in 3rd place there, but couldn't make the move on Davidoff that he was trying to make there because of the Red Bull that was on the inside on the exit of Luffield. He's still right there on the back of Davidoff though. He'll have DRS down the hanger straight and will be fancying a move here, you would think, here for 2nd place. C. Faulkner obviously qualified in 2nd place, was very close to pole position, and on the opening lap dropped down to 4th place, so he's gained 1 place. He's now looking to try and get that P2 back, which he had at the start of the race. They're riding on board with him. It's a little bit too far away here coming down the hanger straight. He'll get there a little bit late. He's going to try and make the move. I'll tell you what, that is OP as anything there. He's got incredible straight line speed, and that DRS is really keeping him in good stead. And C. Faulkner there's made the move, but Davidoff is still there. Side by side, head down towards Vale. He gets it around the outside there to C. Faulkner. Late on the brakes, that might compromise him for club, because he'll be a little bit tight on his line, but he gets the move completed there onto the straight up into 2nd place. Beautifully done there from C. Faulkner. Excellent stuff there from him, as C. Faulkner still just ahead of Davidoff right now. Davidoff though looking into Village once again, but just unable to make that move back on him there. So C. Faulkner now into 2nd place, saying that Davidoff's still right there. I'll tell you what, Davidoff's going to be close here coming into Brooklands. They're only 4/10 apart, so could he be looking to try and return the favour almost immediately here? No, he's going to be too far away. But he'll want to stay close through this next sequence of corners. Obviously, you've got Luffield, Woodcote, Cops, and then Magus Beckett's Chapel, and then the hanger straight. The hanger straight will be where the DRS could help Davidoff make this move once again here. Justify is continuing to stretch his legs out the front. He's got a big gap now of nearly 3 seconds over these guys, so the more time that they battle, the more they are losing out to the race leader. But a long way to go here in this race still. C. Faulkner has got a slender advantage over Davidoff, but Davidoff surely is going to have a golden opportunity. Oh, as he gets a massive slide there on the curve coming out of Chapel. He's still close enough to make the move though, and with the DRS, C. Faulkner's so quick in a straight line though, he might have a chance to defend this on the inside. Davidoff's trying to go around the outside there, and he gets it done. What a beautiful move there from Davidoff. Had much better grip there around the corner. C. Faulkner's straight line speed there was keeping him in the picture, but Davidoff gets himself in second place with CT into the pits here at the end of lap 8. Justify still leads the race, has still got a healthy margin, but I tell you what, these guys have chipped away a little bit over the last lap or so. Davidoff though running in second place now with C. Faulkner third. There's Clen right on the back of them. As it stands right now, with Clen leading the championship, Davidoff would gain 6 points on him, so Davidoff would lead the championship after tonight. Obviously tonight is the halfway point in the season, so pretty significant as we go into the mid-season break next week to see who's got that momentum going into that break. Justify would certainly dearly love to go out on the first half of the season with a victory, as he's not had the best of first half of the season, but in the last couple of weeks he's kind of got it together a little bit and has got a strong chance if he can maintain the sort of form that we've seen over these last 2 weeks. He's really showing everybody what he's made of at the moment, that is for sure. As Mr. Johan has picked off T up into 12th place. T went very late on the brakes there going into Brooklands, but I think Mr. Johan's going to say bye-bye now, as he's got ahead of him there. But here are the leaders coming down the hanger straight here for the 9th time in this race. C. Faulkner has got Clen very close on him here. Look to the inside now. C. Faulkner defends because he's also trying to make a move on Davidoff as well. Down the inside he has a look. Davidoff managing to keep it around the outside there with that better grip that he's got, and Davidoff into the pits. Probably not a bad call there from Davidoff. Just taking a break from this battle. Obviously he can focus more on his pace when he's not got people right behind him. And C. Faulkner and Clen here coming over the line here to start lap 10 of the race. Still at the moment these two slowing each other down a little bit. They're keeping the gap to the race leader though. They're not losing time to the race leader. I think the fact that you've got 2 DRS zones is also helping them keep up as well, because although they're battling and slowing each other down through the corners, one of them has always got the DRS and they're able to slingshot, usually able to overtake each other as well, so they're not slowing each other down, so to speak, because one of them overtakes and leads the way, then the other one overtakes and leads the way. They just keep taking it in turns. But essentially, when you have the DRS around Silverstone, you've got 2 cars chasing. It's essentially like bump drafting in NASCAR. You're watching NASCAR, you have 2 cars trying to run as close as you can. If you run about less than a foot apart between the 2 cars, you'll find that both cars go quicker. And it's a similar kind of thing with the DRS. You're slingshotting. You're not like pushing along, you're not staying behind, you're actually making the move, but then you're dragging the car along behind you every time. But nonetheless, here we come out onto the hanger straight once again, and Clen has got a good run with the DRS, and it's going to be the job done here for him. C. Faulkner's got no defence on that one whatsoever, and he swoops around the outside into Stowe corner. Clen up into second place. Beautifully done there from him. And Justify still leads the race at the moment, as we've got a driver into the pits there in the background. That's C. Faulkner there coming in for his pit stop, putting some soft tyres on, I would have thought. But I tell you what, C. Faulkner's had a heck of a first stint here. No, it'd be hard. It'd be hard, sorry, on C. Faulkner. Definitely the hards. So it's interesting because he had drivers who started on the soft tyres, and Justify is one of them, and he's made it work. He's had some really strong pace here in this first stint. He had a lot of drivers starting on the mediums, but most people are doing doing the hards for the second stint, which is, I guess, peculiar, because you've got some people doing soft hard and you've got other people doing medium hard. And I wonder if anybody's trying to do medium soft, because that would definitely be the quickest on paper, as long as you can keep those tyres in check. If you can't keep onto them, then forget it. But yeah, for sure, you would think it would be the best strategy. See Matty Pitt coming into the pits here at the end of lap 11. So we see Matty Pitts put the medium tyres on for the second stint. Got C Faulkner obviously on a hard, so is T. Street Boys gone for the mediums. We've got Davidoff on the hard tyres. Most of the front runners are on the hard tyres so far. Matty Pitt, the first of the drivers, up near the front to go for the mediums. Obviously, when I say the front, you've got kind of 6 drivers who are within about 5 seconds of the lead, but Justify has gone a long way on these soft tyres, and I'm pretty sure all we put in the mediums on. Matty Pitt, though, could be fancying an undercut here because he's come out ahead of these guys. He's come out ahead of C Faulkner and T as well as Davidoff. So Matty Pitt's come out a long way ahead here. Things have really worked out well for Matty Pitt doing their overcut, which is very, very strange. You wouldn't expect it to have worked so well. C Faulkner wants to clear G.C. as quickly as possible here because he's got drivers who he wants to be ahead of, who are in front of G.C. So needs to really be making a move soon. Justify now into the pits, and I'm sure it'll be medium tyres here. He wouldn't have gone this long on the softs just to put the hards on. I wouldn't have thought. As there we go, medium tyres onto Justify's McLaren, off and away he goes. Glenn staying out on these medium tyres. I'm pretty sure he's doing a medium soft strategy as well here, so he's essentially doing the opposite of Justify. Now where's Justify come out in relation to Matty Pitt? This is going to be close here. Matty Pitt could have got the undercut here on Justify. No, don't think so. No, Justify out of the pits, and there's Matty Pitt. He's just coming through into the village now, so a bit of a gap there between them. Justify there coming through Aintree, and there is Matty Pitt, about a second and a half behind him. C Faulkner there in what's P5, but in there obviously P4 once everybody's pitted, and he's well within a second of Matty Pitt at the moment as they come into Brooklands once again. So still race on, but it would be hard to look past Justify now on his medium tyres. I think he's going to see this one out. He's got the faster tyres. He's had the pace so far tonight. I'd say that all of the indicators here so far are that Justify is going to see this one out, and quite comfortably as well. Unless Glenn is putting the soft tyres on. He'll have a fast car at the end, but he's going to lose time over these next couple of laps doing the overcut. So he'll be losing time to these guys. They'll be looking to get the jump on him, but he will be able to overtake them probably in the final stint. But then again, it's going to be a big train of cars here, so Glenn's going to have his work cut out in this final stint with the soft tyres. As T has got around Mr. Johan up into 7th place through Stowe Corner. Now Davidoff's looking to try and get involved here. Up the inside he looks, backs out of that one. Mr. Johan there looking around the outside again, nothing really doing there. As G.C. into the pits here at the end of lap 13. And Davidoff's got ahead of Mr. Johan, or has he? Mr. Johan there managing to... sorry, Mr. Johan, sorry, on T, should I say. Mr. Johan T has got DRS as well. C. Faulkner's got ahead of Rixie Boys all up into P4. Obviously he needed to do that because he's on a different strategy. But here comes Mr. Johan looking to the outside now of T into Brooklands. T up the inside. Mr. Johan has a little bit of a lock-up, goes deep on, but he manages to get the cutback there. T went deep into Brooklands, and Mr. Johan there manages to get that position done. Davidoff is now getting involved here on the back of these here. You can see Davidoff putting T under immense pressure at the moment as they're coming through into Cops Corner, so less than 3/10 of a second between T and Davidoff at the moment. Then I'll come down towards Maggots. You can see here, but Davidoff getting a bit closer here into this sequence. In the meantime, Glenn is into the pits here at the end of lap 14, so he's going to be putting some soft tyres on, I would have thought, and go to the end of the race from here. T and Davidoff here getting closer to the back of Mr. Johan. 3 of them in a line here coming into Stowe, and look at that. T down the inside. Is that going to be job done here? My TV just flickered off there. In fact, it wasn't. T down the inside into Vale, goes deep, and that's going to be Mr. Johan saying thank you very much, T indeed. And also Davidoff swinging through as well. As Glenn now coming out, back out onto the track here. So he's come out behind Justify, Matty Pitt, Steve Faulkner, and Rexy Boy as well. Rexy Boy still needs to pit, so Glenn should make light work of him here, because Rexy Boy hasn't got DRS on anybody in front, so Glenn should have a free pass here, should have a free crack, essentially, to make this move up into 4th place, saying that he had to get out of it a little bit there to avoid running into Rexy Boy. I would have thought Rexy Boy wouldn't be fighting this one too hard with the context of the situation, but he's still ahead of him at the moment. So Glenn is 6 seconds off of the race lead, actually about 7 seconds off of the race lead with soft tyres. So can he challenge Justify for this race win? I imagine he'll be on the back of C. Faulkner soon in a few laps, and probably Matty Pitt a couple of laps after that. But can Glenn threaten the win here in this race? It's going to be fascinating. He's got his one of his championship rivals leading the race. As things stand here in this race, Justify will be taking a big chunk of points out of the top 2. Audio check, audio check. I'll just do a quick check because I can't hear the cars in my headphones anymore. I accidentally pulled my jack out just now and I can no longer hear the cars, so I had to make sure that you could hear me on the stream, but it sounds like it's all good, at least in the input. But nonetheless, we see Rexy Boy and Mr. Johan into the pits here at the end of lap 15. They'll be off on their way on some fresh tyres. The Rexy Boys put the softs on. Mr. Johan has gone for the soft tyres there, going on that Haas car. Off and away he goes. But Justify's got the gap at 2.3 seconds over Matty Pitt right now. Glenn is into 3rd place, so C. Faulkner's made a mistake. What's happened to C. Faulkner here? Wow. C. Faulkner's had an incident here. I'm not quite sure where. Glenn is also 6 seconds off of the lead. He was about 6 seconds off him before, so actually that hasn't changed. But the fact that C. Faulkner has dropped well off is a bit of a head scratcher there. I didn't see what happened to him, but he's now nowhere to be seen here. Justify 2.5 seconds into Matty Pitt. They're on the same tyres. Matty Pitt's are a lap older. Has Matty Pitt got the pace to put Justify under pressure here? I'll tell you what, Glenn is going to have bigger pace than both of these two in these closing laps of the race on these tyres, but are the softs going to burn out before we get to the checkered flag? That's also, you know, a big question mark. Lots of ifs and buts here in this race. As Rexy Boy has moved ahead of Truckee up into 11th place down the Hanger Straight. Justify currently in a strong position right now with just under 3 seconds of a gap here over Matty Pitt. Matty Pitt has got 3 seconds back to Glenn, who is now 5.8 behind the race leader Justify. So about 6 seconds beginning this lap. Let's keep an eye on the gaps here, see how much Glenn is gaining, because he needs to be gaining about half a second a lap at least, probably more than that actually, probably about 6/10 a lap to be on Justify on the final lap of the race. Then you also got to factor in that his tyres are going to be degrading quicker than Justify's, so that advantage, if he has a 6/10 advantage now, it'd probably be a bit less than that by the end. If he's got any advantage by the end, it could be that the medium overtakes the soft in terms of overall pace by the end of the race due to the soft's rapid degradation. But nonetheless, Glenn here is now 5.4 behind the race leader. He's now only 2.5 seconds behind Matty Pitt. Matty Pitt is keeping the gap at around 3 seconds to Justify. It hasn't changed too much, but Glenn is now 5.3, so he is closing the gap without doubt. He is bringing it down here to the leader. So the gap as they come over the line, 5.4, so he's gained 6/10 on that last lap, which is what he needs to be gaining. But is he going to be able to keep up that level? Remains to be seen at the moment. In the meantime, Davidoff here attacking on C. Faulkner. C. Faulkner with that mistake a couple of laps ago has dropped him right back into the clutches of the Williams driver. Davidoff was obviously the championship leader last week. Hasn't had a great last week or so. Glenn obviously retook the championship lead this week, but Davidoff will be looking to try and make it damage limitation here, looking to get closer to the back of C. Faulkner into Brooklands. A little bit too far away just there. Gap currently 5.2 between Justify and Clen. Gap's going up between Justify and Matty Pitt all the time, but Clen knows he needs to be gaining 6/10 a lap. So far on this lap, he's gained 3/10 on the race leader. Davidoff in the meantime is all over the back of C. Faulkner as they're coming out onto the hangar straight once again. DRS will be open here for the Williams driver, getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and then pulls out to the outside. C. Faulkner tries to make him go around the long way, and Davidoff says it doesn't really matter which way round I go, mate, it's going to happen in one way or the other. So he's done it now, and he's up into 4th place. And Clen only gained 2/10 on that last lap, so looking at the moment like Justify's doing enough out the front. Unless Clen finds some pace from somewhere, I think our man in the McLaren has got this one pretty much wrapped up here. I say man in the McLaren, I don't know if Justify the man, might not be, but nonetheless Justify doing a fantastic job out the front in this race with 7.5 laps left to go here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. And the gap currently 3.5 seconds here to Matty Pitt, as there is Clen keeping it reasonably close at the moment with Matty Pitt, and obviously didn't gain too much on that previous lap, but has gained a fair amount on this one. I'll tell you what, Clen flying here on this lap so far. What's the gap here as they come out onto the hangar straight? Well, he's under 5 seconds to the leader now, but he's not quite within DRS of Matty Pitt at this point. Look at that, it looks like it's close enough, doesn't it? That looks like it's under a second, but it isn't. According to the timing screen, it's 1.2. So Clen just needs to find a little bit more through this first sector here, and he might have a chance of DRS coming through into Brooklands at the end of the Wellington Straight. Gino Cedar in the meantime has got up into 9th place ahead of Street Boy. Clen still not quite close enough on the back of Matty Pitt to have DRS. And all the time it's swinging in the favour of Justify, who seems a little bit more comfortable out the front here in this race. Currently settling into things on these medium tyres, and they're going to be sweet as anything to the end here. He's only got to do a total of 14 laps on them. It's not too much on the mediums. So here we come then. Justified down the hangar straight here for the 20th time in this race. It's gap just under 4 seconds. Clen's still not in DRS here on Matty Pitt. Oh, he is actually just about. He must have been in the detection point because he had fallen out of the DRS briefly there coming through that section. But the gap's just around a second here. Clen needs to make these soft tyres work while he can here, because the mediums will become the tyre of choice in these last couple of laps, I would have thought. At the moment, the softs have probably still got a slight advantage, but that is going to be withering away as the laps wind down. Clen just about at DRS there. Currently, the gap 0.8 of a second, 0.7 of a second as they come through Luffield. So Clen is now eyeing up his opponent here. That Mercedes is going to be looking like a ever more inviting treat here for our Red Bull driver, our championship leader. As things stand, we'll be extending the gap in the championship by 5 points by 3 points to Davidoff. So he'll be 6 points clear after tonight. That's not including fastest laps. We're not sure who's got the fastest lap at the moment. But it's certainly a good night for Glenn so far, but it could be even better here because Matty Pitt is looking in his mirrors. Glenn's going to be getting closer here down the hanger straight. Still not quite close enough into this corner, but I tell you what, next lap is on. And Glenn ever closer to a second place here in this race. He's got the race leader only 4 seconds up the road. Is that just a step too far? Potentially it is here for Glenn, but nonetheless he's still got a very good chance of second place here in this race. Ruck in the meantime has gone ahead of T up into P6 into Stowe corner. And Glenn still keeping Matty Pitt on his toes right now, as into Aintree they come once again, or Village should I say. Next one's Aintree. It goes Abbey Farm, Village, Aintree, the Loop. That's how it goes. But here comes Glenn. 0.3 of a second the gap as they come out onto Wellington Straight. Looking towards Brooklands here. He might be close enough to think about it, but he's not going to do it because he knows that Stowe corner at the end of the hanger straight is coming up next, or is coming up in the next DRS zone in about half a lap's time. And Glenn is going to be putting all of his focus into that one. I'm sure that exit out of Chapel Curve is going to be absolutely paramount here to him taking this P2, which he needs to do now in all fairness, because as I've said before, those soft tyres are going to be going off over the course of this final stint, and in these last couple of laps the mediums could be the stronger tyre, so Glenn needs to get ahead and try and pull a bit of a gap for when Matty Pitt's tyres are probably going to be a bit better than his in the last couple of laps. Obviously the mediums last a lot longer than the softs. Here we go then, Glenn making the move. He's going to do it relatively routine there into Stowe corner, and Glenn up into second place. The gap under 4 seconds to the leader, Justify. That might be a step too far, but he's going to give it a go, I'm sure. But Glenn is going to put his foot down and try and get away from Matty Pitt. That's got to be his priority at this point. And Justify still out the front, still doing exactly what he needs to do at the moment. T's moved ahead of Ruck up into P6, saying that they're still battling. They're still side by side down towards Vale. And T on the outside there's got that move done. And up into 6th place he goes. Street Boy all over the back of G.C. as well in this battle for 9th place. Glenn still keeping ahead of Matty Pitt, not by much, but obviously made that move through that DRS zone down the hanger straight. But still hasn't been able to pull out a second just at the moment. Matty Pitt is sticking to the task resolutely here. And Ruck in the meantime up the inside of T into Brooklands has got that one done there up into P6. So these two chopping and changing right now. And T will be fancying a similar story, I reckon, down towards Stowe corner in a few moments time. We've seen that move a few times tonight, haven't we? In the meantime, Matty Pitt making a move on Glenn down the inside into Stowe corner, and that was a move I didn't expect. But Matty Pitt's got a penalty. He's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty there for cutting the inside of Stowe corner. That's going to give the second place to Glenn no matter what. I think that battle may have just put the final straw in Glenn being able to hunt down Justify, but nonetheless Matty Pitt doing a lovely move there back up into P2. But he will be relinquishing P2 as it stands with the penalty there, which will give Glenn second place once again. In the meantime, Ruck and T giving themselves an absolute fight here, coming through club corner as we've got the Ruck on the outside there. T getting a bit of a shove, bit of contact there between them. There's the bang wheels, still side by side down towards Abbey. It's very, very tight between them. T on the inside, Ruck keeping it there. It's very, very close here into Village we go once again. Ruck keeping it around the outside brilliantly there. And T's going to now send it back down the inside. Oh my goodness, what a fight this is between the two of them. And T's still on the sorry, Ruck's still on the outside, should I say, as they come down the Wellington Straight. Now T's got the RS again, looking down to the inside into Brooklands. He's going to send it up the inside there, and T is going to once again make that move here on Ruck. What a battle this is between the two of them though. And Ruck's not giving up. Oh, and Ruck there was just a little bit negligent. Tapped the rear of T, and yeah, rightly so there. I think that he was the one that came off worst there, because that was a bit silly there. But T's able to continue on his way as Glenn's got back ahead of Matty Pitt once again. these two are going to be chopping and changing, I reckon, until the very last lap here, because they're quite even now. Their tyres, obviously, Clem on 9-lap old softs and Matty Pitt on 12-lap old mediums. They're going to be pretty even, I'd say, on pace at this point. So these last 2 laps are going to be very exciting. Justify out the front has got a very solid position at the moment, 4 seconds. He's got the mediums as well, so they'll comfortably get him to the end here without any issues. Glenn might have to be a little bit careful on those soft tyres. They should do 12 laps altogether, but he needs to just be kind to them. They will be sliding around a little bit. Just needs to be careful here. Matty will be looking to try and capitalise on any potential weaknesses here from those Red Bull Mark tyres that Glenn's got on that Red Bull, as they now come through Luffield here on the penultimate lap of the race. C. Fortner still on the back of Davidoff here as they come out of Luffield. Gap between Davidoff and C. Fortner is about a second. Is C. Fortner within DRS here? Might well be. As Matty Pitt again passed Glenn there into Stoke Order, so that hanger straight, that DRS zone is proving to be OP as anything. And what a battle between these two. Matty Pitt back up into second place with 1 lap left to go. Could it be that Glenn is in the right place here? Because being behind on the last lap can very often give you the position around this track. We know how strong that DRS is. I have a feeling Glenn might stay behind him deliberately down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. He might just want to sit behind and pick him off in that final DRS zone. But it's not as slam dunk as some DRS zones, so maybe he will make the move here and try and defend it for the final part of the lap. Here we go then. Glenn has got DRS. He's a little bit too far away anyway, so he's going to have to wait for his opportunity no matter what. But here we are then. Final lap of the race here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector. Formula 1 League Season 12 here. Justify well out the front. Has done everything he needs to do so far in this one, and is looking to bring it home and cut the championship gap significantly to our championship leader Glenn. Second place in the championship, Davidoff came into tonight 3 points behind Glenn. He's now going to be 6 points behind him at least, possibly even 9 points if Glenn can make this move, which he's been threatening to make now for a long while, as we come through Magus, Beckett's and Chapel here for the final time in this British Grand Prix. Here we come out of Chapel Curve now, and he's got the DRS, and surely this is going to be job done. This is going to be done way before we get to the corner. Glenn to the inside with the DRS wide open. Breeze is past him like he's not even there. That is job done, and Glenn timed it absolutely perfectly there. It's going to be second place here for him, but Justify coming through Vale and into Club Corner for the final time. It's going to be the British Grand Prix here for Justify, and he cuts the championship lead. He goes into the second half of the season with a bit of a boost there. Glenn over in second place, the championship leader, extends his gap in the championship to 9 points, should I say. He extends it by 6 points to 9 points as Matty Pitt comes over to complete the podium. C. Faulkner there gets 4th on the penalties with Davidoff P5, so the gap in the championship will be 11 points in favour of Glenn with Davidoff's penalty there. P5 for Davidoff. T's coming through Vale now, and it'll be P6 here for him as he crosses the line. There's Ruck in 7th, not too far behind him. And G.C. will be next over the line in 8th place, not too far ahead of Street Boy, who's over in 9th. Drago will cross the line in 10th place, although actually gets 9th ahead of Street Boy on the penalties. So Drago 9th, Street Boy 10th, Rexy Boy comes over in 11th. Mr. Johan and White Shadow Hull will be the next drivers over the line as they're coming out of Stoke Corner here for the final time. And White Shadow, what is he doing? What is going on there? Oh my goodness. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not condone this kind of behaviour here on the Motive Racing channel, and Purple Sector do not condone that either. I'm so sorry. Anyway, that is that then for tonight, guys. Thanks everybody for joining us for the British Grand Prix. It's a shame we're not going to be back next week. It'll be a 2-week break now until the next race here at the Purple Sector F1 League. We'll be back on Motive next Monday for the Red Arrows F1 League. So do join us for that if you fancy checking it out. But yeah, back on Purple Sector in 12 days' time for the resumption of the season, second half of the season, and all to play for. Still 3 drivers, maybe even 4 now, with Matty Pitt potentially putting himself up there. could be in contention for the title. So lots to play for, lots to get excited about. And yeah, join us in a couple of weeks for that. But from all of us here at Motive, it's a big thank you once again. And we'll see you for the second half of the season at Purple Sector in 2 weeks' time. Good night.